Hey there, YouTubers. I got the Doctor Who hair. That's what I call it. Doctor Who actually probably has quite normal hair. I mean, not messy. So I know I'm thinking of that guy in Back to the Future, right? That's what I'm doing. Anyway, question here is for you, where did some of these polyhedra you see a lot around when I show slides or you see Wikipedia, it's like where did those graphics come from? I did them in POV ray, so I rendered them with it's not GPL or GNU, but CompuServe culture gave rise to its own open source license and so on, or whatever you want to call it. And so POVRay is free open, and I used it early. I didn't need to know how it worked. It was beyond me to try to read the source code, but certainly it ran on Windows and stuff. So these graphics are vintage 1990s, and really as soon as we could put animated GIFs on the web, they've had a comeback recently, but they've been around a while, and this kind of animated GIF that you're looking at is what I was spending most of my time on in the 90s when it comes to cyberspace and sharing and stuff like that. Anyway, there's a page 2 to this, so this is the 1346. Hi, Jenny. I just saw Jenny is someone who does podcasts, and she showed me at El Mercado the way cool software that, I am just going straight through Camtasia here with no post, well, there is post editing, there's post production, but it's kind of minimalist, right? And I got these, I don't have a fancy microphone even, so in the future, maybe you guys will get this upgraded. One big question I have is, where are, like we have Jesuit High around here, you'd think, because no more secondhand God, it's kind of a deistic American transcendentalism. I'm talking about Bucky again, where these whole number volumes come from. What's up with Catholic schools? Like, I thought maybe the Gulen schools would pick the whole number volumes topic. And I'm not talking about taking over the curriculum with this stuff. Imagine 10 minutes in an American literature class where you just cover quick, okay, Edgar Allan Poe was like this and Bucky Fuller was like that, right? He came up with whole number volumes so that we could understand science better. And he wrote No More Secondhand God. Okay, on to the, at least get the unit volume tetrahedron in there, because the geodesic dome is, they attack that for one thing as not being really his invention. And as we've seen with Alexander Graham Bell, great minds think alike, right? Like this whole obsession with who thought of it first, that's for kids on the playground, right? That's not what we're interested in right now. Anyway, interesting question. Now, just to wind up, what I'm working on here is, just the basics of ordinary conventional mathematics where you're plotting curves like parabolas, third degree, whatever. Use a pandas data frame. Don't just sit there with your graphing calculator, throwing away data, entering things multiple times. I mean, start developing your portfolio of Jupyter notebooks as you learn your math. That's kind of obvious school of tomorrow kind of stuff, right? You don't have to put it on GitHub. You don't have to share it with anybody. It's for you to learn. And then internally, you link these things together to each other. So where Synergetics was going to fit in, and by the way, we've got the emojis and Unicode practice going, always part of it. I worked that in. So when I say we're going to do our classic opening like Pawn to King 4 in chess, I'm referring to this sort of litany of commands here, what we always do, right? Our opening moves. But since I'm talking in a colorful and figurative manner, I put some emoji in Unicode, and this is a reminder to the other places we do that. So where I saw Synergetics especially coming in useful was kind of like in Little Prince, that book where he goes from planet to planet, and each one is kind of themed. So every discipline or way of looking at knowledge, you could call it a frequency. It's maybe think of it. It's really always the same planet over and over, but everyone seems completely different because it's a different frequency. It's a different planet, but it's the meme of planet is there, which is why I say it's always the same. There's always a planet, and it's spherical, and that means the way the knowledge is organized is like a hiker. You do come to the same places over and over, almost no matter which way you go. Like it's like traveling in a world of airports and airplanes. You keep coming to the same airports from different angles. And that experience of thinking in a kind of nonlinear hypertext, I've seen that before kind of way, that sort of mnemonics is where synergetics urges you to go. It's like good prep for the age of hypertext, which was to come right after. As soon as synergetics was published, bam. Because I know when I was walking around in Jersey City teaching Catholic school and getting into this stuff actually, I was dreaming of hypertext. I wanted it. I didn't know about Tim Berners-Lee. I didn't know that HTTP was coming along. I had no idea about that. But I knew I wanted hypertext. I was thinking of it a lot, and reading synergetics and reading philosophical investigations. That non-linear. So when I talk too, it's like I change topics a lot, but it's watch more of the YouTubes. It's the same stuff. You know, it's a planet. It's a planet. This is like Planet Kirby. But synergetics is good at getting you to see thinking, kind of. That's why it's called Explorations in the Geometry of Thinking. So, great in philosophy class. You can do a whole course in it. You can, run with this a long way, and I'm suggesting you do that in the university level. But as far as where do I fit the whole number of volumes in, my math class is already packed to the gills. I don't have room for more. And I keep saying, no, this is literature. Tell them about Edgar Allan Poe and this stuff. Pretty simple. 10 minutes. I've got the materials here. Have had them for many years, and that's what's interesting. Where's the literature? Who's literary anymore? Anybody out there? Talk to you later.